There's one really important thing that's rarely talked about. Yet it's a huge issue when you have an alcoholic in the family, and that's the narcissism from the alcoholic in your family and the blatant self centeredness, because the alcoholic will become really the focal point. All the toxicity and the drama really centers around that person. And for the most part, they're really woefully ignorant of how they affect other people in their life because it tends to be all about them. And it's really part of the disease, even if it's not part of their normal makeup or part of their normal personality or the essence of who that person is. Because you can take the most empathetic, loving person, and 10 years down the road with alcoholism, and then certainly into the disorder, they will become the most self-centered person you can even imagine. In fact, it's almost astonishing to the degree of narcissism that they can go. And it's really all part of the part of the disease. And I'm going to explore this further, but the main thing is how it affects family and the family perspective and what they have to deal with when they have a narcissistic alcoholic in their life. And this is speaking specifically to families because so many families don't realize, how it affects the alcoholic themselves, because they will say things like, well, they chose alcohol over the family, or this, you have a spouse and they chose the alcohol or the drugs or whatever the issue is over them. And that's really not the case. What people don't realize is their only choice, the alcoholic's only choice, is the alcohol itself. There is no plan B. Nobody else really exists. It's the alcohol. Getting it, consuming it, dealing with it, dealing with coming down and trying to find more, certainly in the later stages. It's all about the alcohol. It's all about that fix. It's all about that dopamine fix. It's all about, fulfilling that, that disease, filling that need for the alcohol in their life. Everything else becomes secondary. And if it wrecks their relationships, if it destroys their productivity, if it just even destroys their health, that's all secondary to getting the alcohol, certainly in the later stages. And as a family member, it is so heartbreaking to watch it over and over and over again. And you can spend so much time and energy and effort trying to save someone, and they slowly get worse and worse and worse because they've never made the decision to really take care of themselves. They don't have that ability, unfortunately. And this is really the tragedy of the disease. So as family members, it's important to, really understand the manipulation techniques from the alcoholic. Maybe they go to an AA meeting, or maybe they go to, a detox rehab. Why were they really going? And they're manipulating the situation, and they're really pacifying the people in their life because, a week after coming out of rehab, they're right back into it. Why? Because they've never really made the decision and all the effort and money and financial, fortitude to get that person in the right direction, and then they still go down the same road. It appears to be in unbelievable self-centeredness, which it ultimately is, but it's also the disease and how it affects the brain and how it affects the priorities in an alcoholic's life. Being around it is extremely difficult. And I think this is the element that is more exhausting to family members than anything else, is just the blatant disregard for their efforts, their continued efforts. And it puts family in harm's way, financially, emotionally, psychologically. Family members can suffer post-traumatic stress syndrome because it's so much stress having to deal with somebody that you genuinely care about and love, and watch them destroy themselves in front of you no matter what your efforts. And it just seems like they're hell-bent on destroying their own life. I have known personally people who have lost limbs because of diabetes, and they continue to drink. I know people who have stage 4 liver disease and they continue to drink. I know people that have Wernicke-Korsakoff. They actually have brain damage and they continue to drink because the drug has taken over their brain and their emotions and who they are as a person so completely. And it's really debilitating. It's important to talk about this issue and to understand one other thing as I finish this up. And this is very difficult for families to understand, but you can't take it personally. If they choose the alcohol, it's no effect on you, even though it seems like they're choosing the alcohol over you or your family. That's not really the case. Their only choice is the alcohol. and you can't take it personally, as difficult as that is. It seems like, well, they're drinking themselves into oblivion and they're leaving us all alone. I mean, I felt that too. I mean, my wife essentially left myself and our son over alcohol, and it became more important. And it's true. It's true. Really, in any case, anybody that succumbs to the disease or is in late stage, you have to realize you can't take it personally that they have a disease, and understand that it's a disease, and for some extent, they're powerless over it. Certainly in the later stages. This is why so many people succumb to it. And this is why, I mean, the things you can do are pretty extreme to get through it, but they definitely need professional help. There's no question when someone's in the later stage, if they have any hope at all. And I hope that helps, and I hope that helps, and I hope it makes sense. And again, I have a complete coaching program. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. Link is in the bio. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. I'm really looking for people who are ready to change their lives and the lives of their family. The call is free. The coaching program is definitely not, but there's lots of different options to get involved. And I want to find people who are really motivated to begin with. Again, I go live Monday through Friday, right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can join the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. Again, link is in the bio. Thanks so much for listening.